When did your mind stop being your own? Not metaphorically, not in theory, I mean literally. When did your thoughts start moving without your permission? When did silence become foreign? When did you last sit with your breath? Not as a tactic, not as a trend, but because you needed to feel real again. You open your eyes and reach for the glow, the feed loads, the noise begins, and before your spine even straightens, you're already behind on 1,000 things that don't even belong to you. You can feel it, can't you? That invisible pressure, crushing your chest at 8 a.m., the way your attention gets carved up and auctioned off before you've had the chance to protect it. And the worst part? No one's breaking in, you're handing them the keys, you scroll past your peace, swipe past your discipline, tap through your potential like it's just another distraction in a lineup of lies, and you wonder why you feel scattered, why you can't focus, why even on the days when everything is fine, you still feel like you're losing something. It's not your fault, but it is your responsibility. You've been taught that distraction is harmless, that being reachable 24/7 is strength, that productivity means motion, any motion, even if it's aimless. But here's the truth you won't hear in any morning routine video. Your focus isn't missing, it's being stolen, and you're helping them take it. You're not lazy, you're fractured, you're not undisciplined, you're overwhelmed, and overwhelmed people don't need more alarms, more apps, more advice. They need silence, they need space, they need a return, not to what they were, but to what they've always carried deep under the noise. A still mind, a focused soul, a warrior waiting to remember. This isn't a how-to, this is a callback to the part of you that knows the storm isn't out there. It's in here, and if you don't reclaim your mind, someone else will use it for you. But here's what no one tells you. You don't fight distraction with effort, you fight it with clarity. You don't outwork chaos, you outcenter it. And it begins, not with a hack, but with a shift, one Marcus Aurelius made, when Rome was burning, and his mind stayed still. We'll talk about that next. But first, breathe. You're not too late. You're just remembering what focus feels like. Picture this, a man wrapped in a worn robe, seated in dim firelight outside. The empire crumbles inside. He writes, not to publish, not to perform, but to preserve something no one else could touch, his mind. Marcus Aurelius, the ruler of the known world, fighting wars, facing plagues, betrayal, and death. Yet somehow, in all that noise, he found the space to be still, not because the world calmed down, but because he did. You felt that pressure before, haven't you? Not the burden of an empire, but the weight of existing in a world that wants something from you every second. The messages, the deadlines, the spinning wheels in your brain that never stop, even when your body begs you to rest. But Marcus didn't run from the noise, he wrote through it. He didn't escape the chaos, he observed it. And that's the first shift you were never taught. Observation over reaction. He practiced it like a soldier sharpens a blade, every thought examined, every urge questioned, every emotion stripped of its illusion until only truth remained. Because once you can see clearly, you're no longer owned by what you see, but you. You've been reacting to everything, swiping before asking why, jumping before listening to the silence underneath the urge, and that's not your fault. That's what the world trains you to do. Stay distracted, stay numb, stay chasing. Because focused people are dangerous. Focused people stop playing the game. Observation isn't passive, it's power without noise. It's the first weapon of the Stoic mind. The moment you say, I see this impulse, but I do not obey it. You take back what was always yours, your direction. That's what Marcus did. He stood at the edge of collapsing systems and wrote. Not because he had answers, but because he had presence. And you still have that in you. The ability to sit with your chaos, to see without flinching, to breathe before moving, to pause long enough that your next action is a choice, not a reflex. That's what focus is, not concentration, but sovereignty. Over your mind, over your moment, over the next move you make. And if you're still here, that says something. Most people would have clicked away by now. Most people look for tips, not truth. But you're listening for something deeper, something old, something real. Keep going, because what's next is the shift no one wants to admit, the one that cuts deeper, the one that makes you face your own leash. And if you can face that, you won't just be focused, You'll be free. You reach for it before you even know why. The phone, the tab, the sugar, the scroll, your fingers move before your mind can stop them. And afterward, you don't even remember what you were looking for, just that you needed something. Dopamine doesn't knock politely. It kicks the door in and leaves you dizzy, empty, ashamed, and hungry again. But here's what no one told you. You are not your impulses. You are not the craving. You are not the twitch in your fingers. You are the watcher behind all of that, and you've just forgotten how to sit in that seat. Stoic shift number 2. Master impulse, or become its servant. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." But most of us are owned by 1,000 tiny kings, notifications, desires, triggers, the urge to reply, to check, to prove, to know, now. And it's subtle, so subtle that you think you're choosing, when really, you're obeying. Obeying boredom, obeying fear, obeying that voice that whispers, just one more scroll, just one more hit, just one more break. But here's the part that stings. The algorithm didn't steal your focus. You gave it away, not once, but over and over again, until surrender became muscle memory. And now, you're tired, not because you work too hard, but because you leak energy in every direction, because your mind has become a hallway without doors. Every thought walks in uninvited, and every impulse gets treated like a king. But that ends when you remember the truth. Impulse is not command, emotion is not order, and craving is not destiny. The Stoics didn't suppress their impulses. They studied them, sat with them, refused to be moved by noise, and slowly turned fire into fuel, not chaos. And you've already felt the strength that comes from restraint, the clarity after saying no, the high that comes from not giving in, the clean silence that follows when you let the craving pass like a cloud and return to yourself untouched. So start small, say no once, pause once, let the discomfort rise, and don't move, because the longer you sit, the louder your true voice becomes, the one beneath the twitch, the one that remembers who you are. Most people never reach that voice, because most people never stop long enough to hear it. But you're here, and you're ready, because what comes next isn't about what's happening around you. It's about what's stealing you from the inside. And until you name it, it will keep running your life. Let's go deeper, because the next shift isn't just inconvenient. It's uncomfortable and necessary. The world wants your panic. It profits from it, thrives on it, manufactures it, then sells you the cure. It convinces you that everything is urgent, that if you don't respond in 10 seconds, you're falling behind. If you're not watching what everyone else is watching, you're irrelevant. If you're not available all the time, you're useless. But who decided that? Who made your worth a reaction time? This isn't just noise, it's manipulation. Distraction has a motive, and it's not harmless. It rewires you. It erodes your center. It replaces your inner compass with a crowd you'll never see. They make you feel like you'll miss something, but what you're really missing is yourself. Every ping pulls you out of the present. Every trend steals your stillness. Every urgent thing on your phone is slowly making you forget what actually matters. Seneca warned us, life is long, if you know how to use it, but most people don't use life. They react to it, bounce off it, check it, refresh it, watch it slip through their fingers while calling themselves busy. And here's the part that hurts. You've mistaken urgency for importance, speed for progress, noise for direction. So now you live in a state of constant half-presence, never fully here, never fully there, always almost focused, always almost alive, and your soul is starving for something whole, something slow, something still. But you won't find it in a new app or a better to-do list. You'll find it in the space between the urge and the action, in the split second where your finger hovers but doesn't move, where your breath slows instead of speeds, where you choose silence over scrolling, purpose over panic, because distraction doesn't just waste time, it wastes you, your edge, your depth, your ability to sit with truth and not flinch. And the worst part? It feels normal, so normal that silence starts to feel awkward, that focus feels boring, that rest feels unproductive. But this isn't normal, it's engineered madness. And if you want clarity, you can't wait for the world to slow down. You have to step out of its rhythm. You have to say, no, not today, not my mind, Because here's what most people never understand. Distraction isn't about what you're doing. It's about what you're avoiding. Here's something most people never get to hear: your own voice, uninterrupted, unashamed, uncontrolled. And that's where we're going next. But you'll need something most people have forgotten how to carry: quiet strength, steady breath, and the discipline to listen instead of react. Ready? Some battles don't look like war. They look like emails. They look like 1,000 tabs open. They look like you sitting still, but shaking on the inside. No blood, no noise, no glory, just tension, silent and sharp, like a wire wrapped around your lungs. This is the quiet fight, the one nobody sees, the one where you're trying to do something simple: read, write, focus, and your brain throws a riot at your feet. Check your phone, open something else, just take a break, just for a second. But it's not a second, it's never a second, it's a fracture. And over time, those fractures become who you are. No one claps for this battle. There's no medal for ignoring the itch, no applause when you resist the twitch in your fingers. No one celebrates when you choose to sit with yourself instead of running from your own mind. But that's where it starts, the real strength. Not loud, not visible, but forged in stillness, in resistance, in choosing not to move. When everything inside you screams otherwise. You're not lazy. You're exhausted from holding the weight of constant stimulation. You're not undisciplined. You've just been at war with your own chemistry for years. And the only thing that's ever felt like relief is escape. But escape costs more than it gives. And maybe you've been trying. Maybe you've downloaded the apps, made the plans, lit the candles. But deep down, you still feel like a failure when you can't sit still for 10 minutes without reaching for something to save you from yourself. I know. I've been there. And here's what changed for me. I stopped trying to win, and I started trying to stay. Not to conquer the chaos, but to sit with it, to breathe through it, to see it not as the enemy, but the doorway. Because discomfort isn't your problem. It's your compass. The moment you want to run is the moment you need to stay. The moment you feel like quitting is the moment something real is about to surface. And you can't see it if you move. You can't feel it if you numb. So sit. Even when it's boring. Even when it's hard. Even when it feels like nothing's happening. Because something is. You're remembering how to be with yourself without fleeing. And that's a rare kind of power. One the Stoics knew well. One the world forgot. But you're not like most people. You're here, still breathing, still listening, still standing in the fire without reaching for the exit. That matters, even if no one sees it, especially because no one sees it. And if you can survive that, you're ready for what comes next, the shift that's not about punishment, but about protection, the kind of discipline that feels like love with a backbone. Let's go there. You've been told discipline is rigid, that it's cruel, that it means saying no to everything fun, that it's about restriction, punishment, self-denial. But that's not discipline. That's self-hatred pretending to be structure. Real discipline isn't cold. It's not militant. It's not sterile. It's sacred. It's devotion. Stoic shift number 3. Discipline isn't punishment. It's protection. Because what is discipline if not love in action? What is focus if not choosing what deserves your energy and refusing to betray yourself in small ways? You guard what matters, don't you? You lock your doors, you cover your wounds, you protect the people you love. So why is it so hard to protect your attention? You don't let strangers walk into your home, but you let them hijack your mind every morning with their opinions, their updates, their noise, and they leave fingerprints on your peace, footprints on your purpose, and you call it normal. You call it connection, but really? It's invasion dressed as convenience. You think structure cages you, but structure frees you. It creates space for clarity to show up and stay a while. Without it, you're just guessing your way through the day, praying for a flash of motivation to save you. But Marcus Aurelius didn't wait to feel like an emperor to act like one. He didn't beg the world to calm down. He built routines that held his center. He carved out rituals. He gave his time form because he knew a scattered life leads to a scattered soul. And so he returned to the same journal, the same practice, the same discipline, not because he was obsessed with control, but because he was loyal to something higher than impulse. That's what discipline is, not control, but loyalty, not perfection, but presence, not force, but self-respect. It says, I don't just value my time, I honor it. So build your own gates. Wake up without touching your phone. Sit with yourself before the world gets a say. Create boundaries your future self will thank you for. And yes, you'll fail, you'll break the rhythm, you'll fall back into the noise. But every time you return, you get stronger, you get clearer, you remember. You are not owned. You are not programmable. You are not some machine waiting to be hacked. You are a human being who chooses, and choosing is a sacred act. And if this kind of truth doesn't scare you a little, you haven't let it in yet. Most people will skip this. Most people will search for something easier, faster, something that doesn't demand so much soul, but you're still here, and that says everything. This kind of truth doesn't show up by accident. It shows up for the ones who are ready to rebuild. So ask yourself, what would your life look like if your discipline was a form of devotion? Not a wall, but a temple. We're not done, not yet, because now we plant these shifts deep into your day, into your wiring, into the rhythm of who you are becoming. Every action is a vote. Every choice casts a shadow. You're either feeding the flame or dimming the spark. You're either sharpening the blade or letting it rust. And the Stoics knew that your mind is not neutral ground. It's soil, and what you plant grows. You want focus? Then stop watering distraction. Stop scrolling when you're tired. Stop watching when you should be building. Stop pretending your time doesn't matter, because every second is a signal, telling your brain what to value, and your brain obeys what you reward. You check your phone 80 times a day. Don't act surprised when your attention span is 6 seconds long. You binge dopamine till you're numb. Then wonder why you're uninspired. You surround yourself with noise, then complain about the silence of your own intuition. This isn't judgment, it's awareness, because awareness is the only knife sharp enough to cut through illusion. You become what you practice. This is what Seneca meant when he said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality," because the mind, when left alone, doesn't rest. It rehearses destruction. It feeds the wolves of worry. It loops, obsesses, spirals, unless you train it, unless you aim it, unless you feed it something higher. So here's a truth you need to hold. Every scroll is training. Every tab is training. Every hour you spend passively is an hour you teach your brain to wander, to weaken, to leak energy, and every small return to discipline, every breath before a reaction, every quiet morning you reclaim, that's training too. That's how you build a mind that holds still in a storm. Epictetus said, "You become what you give your attention to." So give your attention to something worthy. Give it to your craft. Give it to your values. Give it to the process, not the prize, because results are fleeting, but integrity, that becomes your identity. And identity is the only thing strong enough to carry you through the days when you don't feel motivated, the days when the noise comes back louder, the days when your vision blurs and your doubts scream louder than your dreams. That's why we feed the right things, not for the moment, but for the momentum, because what you feed, you strengthen, and what you strengthen, you become. Don't wait to be disciplined, act disciplined. Don't wait to feel focused, choose focus. Don't wait for clarity, create it over and over again. The world is burning with distraction, but you are becoming fireproof, and that's not the end. We're just getting started. Let's go deeper. Let's take all of this and weaponize it. There's a word you were never taught to value, a word so small it feels soft on the tongue, but carries the weight of empires. The word is no, and it is your sword, not the kind you draw in violence, but the kind you raise in discipline, in defiance, in dignity. No is how Marcus Aurelius protected his mornings. It's how Epictetus trained his will. It's how Seneca carved time out of chaos to write, reflect, and refine. Because when you say no to distraction, you're saying yes to something deeper. You're saying yes to your values, your path, your peace. But here's the part no one tells you. No will not make you popular. It will not make people clap. It will not feed the ego. It will starve it. It will isolate you. It will separate you from the many. Because the world is designed to reward those who say yes to everything. More notifications, more updates, more taps, more noise. And if you don't push back, you drown in it. Every time you don't say no, you're saying yes by default to the algorithm, to the trend, to everyone's urgency but your own. And over time, that silence becomes a habit. You forget how to protect your boundaries. You forget that focus is a fortress, and a fortress must be guarded, not just built. The Stoics weren't cold. They were clear, and clarity requires courage. Courage to disappoint others, courage to unplug, courage to miss out. So you can tune in. You want deep work? Deep focus? A mind like still water? Then start saying no. With intention, no, I don't check my phone before noon. No, I won't open that app while I'm writing. No, I won't be everything to everyone, because I'd rather be excellent at a few things than mediocre at many. Distraction is not just digital, it's spiritual, it's emotional. It's anything that pulls you away from who you are when you're most aligned. And saying no is the fastest way back to yourself. Remember this. Every no sharpens your yes. Every refusal adds weight to your purpose. And purpose is the only compass worth following when the fog sets in. So let the world move fast. Let the noise scream louder. Let the temptations multiply. You have a word they can't steal, a shield they can't touch, a boundary made of fire. And its name is no. Say it with grace. Say it with strength. Say it like your life depends on it. Because in a distracted world, it does. But we're not done, because now that you've built the wall, it's time to defend it, to become unshakable, to sit with the chaos and not flinch. Stillness is not the absence of noise. It's the refusal to be moved by it. It's not sitting cross-legged on a hilltop while the world burns. It's walking through the fire and not flinching. People think stillness is laziness or passivity or weakness wrapped in quiet, but they don't understand. Stillness is one of the hardest things to master, because to be still, you must first conquer yourself. You must sit with discomfort and not itch for escape. You must hear your thoughts without drowning in them. You must face the chaos without needing to control it. And that is strength. Marcus Aurelius ruled the most powerful empire in the world, and yet his most valuable possession wasn't Rome. It was his mind, and he guarded it fiercely. He wrote to himself, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul. Not the palace, not the battlefield, not even the library, but the soul, the still center of the self. Stillness is your training ground. It's where you watch your emotions rise and choose not to ride them. It's where you breathe through the impulse, pause in the pressure, and remind yourself, you are not a puppet. You are not your thoughts. You are not your urges. You are the observer, the gatekeeper, the master. In a distracted age, stillness is rebellion. It's turning your phone face down when the itch hits. It's staring at the blank screen until the first line finally breaks through. It's sitting through boredom until clarity appears. It's doing nothing so you can return to everything with intention. Don't mistake movement for momentum. Some people are always in motion, always on, but going nowhere. Because without stillness, you're just reacting. Without stillness, you're being driven, not driving, you're drifting. The Stoics didn't worship silence. They trained in it. They used it to study their emotions, to rehearse their death, to sharpen their thoughts, so that when the moment came, they didn't flinch. Stillness made them ready. Stillness made them whole. So, carve out stillness like your life depends on it. Because in a world addicted to urgency, stillness is the only antidote. It's not retreat, it's reconnaissance. It's not escape, it's preparation. It's not weakness, it's a weapon. The more still you become, the more you see, the more you choose, the more you focus, and the more powerful you are. Now we're moving toward the final shift, the rarest one, the deepest one, the shift from outcome to presence, from chasing results to embodying the process. Everyone wants the results, the numbers, the proof, the applause. They want the finished book, but not the hours of writing, the six-pack, but not the discipline, the business success, but not the late nights and early mornings that feel like failures stacked in disguise. But the Stoics whispered a truth no one wants to hear. The outcome doesn't belong to you. Only the effort does. You don't control the applause. You don't control how the world responds. You only control the work, the intention, the focus you bring to this exact moment. This is the final shift, the shift from external reward to internal mastery, from asking, will this be worth it? To declaring, it already is, because I'm becoming better by doing it. Focus is not just a tool, It's a form of identity. It's who you are when no one's watching. It's showing up without needing to be seen. It's giving your best effort to a task that might never go viral, never get liked, never even get noticed, and still doing it with fire in your chest, because it sharpens your soul. Seneca said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." And most people suffer because they're obsessed with the destination. They imagine rewards and fear failure. So their attention fractures, their focus collapses, and they wonder why nothing feels enough. But when you stop needing the reward, when you start to fall in love with the focus, you become untouchable. You enter the arena with calm intensity, and every minute of presence is a win. Every deep hour is a deposit into your inner account. Every act done with full presence becomes sacred, even if no one ever claps for it. This is what Stoics knew, that the most powerful life is not outcome dependent, it's focus dependent, because what you pay attention to is what you become. You want to feel confident? Train yourself to stay present when distractions beg for you. You want peace? Focus so deeply that time dissolves. You want purpose? Let your attention be so disciplined that even the smallest task becomes meaningful. The world chases dopamine. Stoics chase depth. The world multitasks. Stoics monotask with monastic obsession. The world gets bored and scrolls. Stoics get bored and keep showing up, because in the end, the focus is the reward, not what it gets you, but who it makes you. Every moment you win the war against distraction, you become sharper, stronger, and freer. Don't ask, "What will I get if I focus?" Ask, "Who will I become if I keep showing up with full presence?" Because that's the real prize, and no algorithm, no metric, no boss can give or take that from you. This is what we've been building toward, not just removing distraction, but transforming your relationship with attention, turning your focus into a practice, a ritual, a weapon, a way of life. You weren't born this distracted, this reactive, this tired, foggy, always looking for what's next version of yourself. No, you were trained to be this way, and the ones who trained you, they're not evil, just efficient corporations, platforms, media machines, built not to empower you, but to consume you. Every ping, every notification, every trending topic is a carefully engineered hook, a trap wrapped in novelty, a weapon dressed up as entertainment. You've been taught to chase stimulation like a dog chases a laser, always running, never arriving. Your mind split between now and what else is happening somewhere else. You scroll for dopamine and call it rest. You consume chaos and call it awareness. You binge noise and call it fun. But here's what the Stoics knew. True freedom doesn't come from doing whatever you want. It comes from not needing what the world constantly throws at you. Epictetus said, "If you want to be free, learn to let go of the things that enslave you." And right now, distraction is your master, your algorithmic god, and every moment you surrender to it, you lose a piece of your life you will never get back. You think it's harmless, just one reel, just one headline, just 5 more minutes. But it's death by 1,000 cuts, and your attention bleeds quietly, until you forget what it ever felt like to be fully here, fully present, fully you. The modern world rewards the distracted, but only so it can profit from your emptiness. It wants you reactive, because reactive minds don't build, they consume, they obey. But the Stoics? They were dangerous, because they were awake, because they chose what to pay attention to, because they refused to let the world dictate their mental state. In a distracted age, a focused person is a revolutionary, not with noise, but with stillness, not with protest, but with presence. You want to take your power back? Start with your attention. Protect it like your life depends on it. Because it does. Focus doesn't happen by accident. It's not a mood you wait for, or a burst of energy you hope shows up. It's a ritual, built deliberately, brick by brick, like a temple for your mind. And if the world has its rituals, morning scrolls, constant checking, reaction after reaction, then you must have yours. Unshakable, intentional, sacred. The Stoics began each day with silence, reflection, preparation. They didn't leave their minds to chance. They armed themselves, as if going into battle, because in many ways, they were. Marcus Aurelius still began his mornings reminding himself that people would be selfish, rude, irritating, but that he could still choose virtue, still choose peace, still choose focus. So what's your ritual? What happens in the first hour of your day? Is it reactive, or is it sovereign? Here's a structure inspired by the Stoics, tested in the fires of modern chaos. Step 1. The wake-up frame. No phone, no noise, no external input. Just you, your breath, your awareness. Sit in stillness for 2 minutes. Ask yourself, what do I want to build today? Not chase, not react to. Build. Begin the day like an architect, not a firefighter. Step 2. The mental rehearsal. Grab a journal. Write the obstacles you expect and how you will respond with clarity, not emotion. This is premeditatio malorum, the Stoic practice of preparing the mind, not for the easy, but for the real. Step 3. The focus window. Set a sacred work block, 90 minutes, no distractions, no checking, no reacting, only creating. What you do here is your rebellion against modern noise, and the proof that you are not owned. Step 4. The evening review. At the end of the day, ask, where did I slip? Where did I stay strong? How can I strengthen the chain tomorrow? This is where focus becomes identity, not a tool. But who you are, you won't get it perfect, but you will get stronger, because every repetition of this ritual is a declaration that your life belongs to you, not the feed, not the trend, not the noise. So start small, start today, but start. The world will keep pulling, but with your ritual, you'll remain anchored. You will forget everything you just heard, not because you didn't feel it, but because life will flood back in. The noise, the pressure, the temptations, they never stop knocking. You'll wake up tomorrow, and your phone will beg for your attention. The algorithm will whisper. The world will hand you 1,000 reasons to scroll, to wander, to wait, to live like your mind is not your own. But this is your line in the sand. This is the moment you choose to remember. You are not a slave to distraction. You are not some helpless product of the modern world. You are not broken. You are simply untrained, and training begins now. Every time you catch yourself drifting, that is not failure. That is the rehearsal. That's the rep that builds your mental muscle. It's what the Stoics knew. Life is resistance, and growth comes from meeting it, not avoiding it. Seneca once said, "No man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity, because he never discovers himself." And that's what this journey is about. Not just focus, but returning to who you've always been, before the noise, before the chaos, before the world convinced you that your mind belonged to everyone else. You are not too far gone. You are not too late. You are not the exception. You are capable of silence, of strength, of staying with one thing long enough to shape your destiny with it. So the next time you feel the urge to scroll, to quit, to split your attention in 1,000 directions, stop, breathe, and ask yourself, what would the man or woman I respect do right now? What would Marcus do? What would Epictetus whisper? They'd say, control what is yours and let the rest burn. This is your reminder. You don't need a perfect plan. You just need the next right decision and the courage to make it again and again and again. So go, focus, cut the noise. Guard your mind like a Roman fortress, because no one else will do it for you. If this spoke to you, subscribe for more Stoic truths and modern mind training. We're just getting started.